Now, Boeing shares slid further in pre-market trading after closing 5% lower overnight. That came after President Trump said China would buy 200 planes, disappointing investors who had speculated about a possible mega order of 500 jets. China has not officially confirmed the deal. But if it goes through, it could give Donald Trump a familiar talking point. He once joked that Boeing named him its greatest salesman. Yasmin Jonkers looks at the China-Boeing story in the last 15 years.
Boeing's China story goes back to 1972, when Richard Nixon landed in Beijing. China was reportedly so taken by the U.S. presidential jet that within months it ordered 10 Boeing 707s. Fast forward to 2011, China approved contracts for 200 Boeing aircraft worth about $19 billion, mainly 737s and 777s, for delivery within 2 years. China's aircraft purchases have often moved alongside state-level diplomacy, a way to show goodwill with Washington while helping Chinese airlines expand quickly. Then in 2015, during Xi Jinping's visit to the U.S., Boeing announced 300 aircraft orders and a major industrial sweetener, a 737 completion and delivery center in China. That was the bargain behind the bargain. China bought the planes, but also wanted aviation jobs, local capability, supplier links, and a pathway to grow its own aerospace ecosystem. Well, the next major milestone came in 2017, and that was during Donald Trump's first visit to China as president. Boeing and China Aviation Supplies announced another 300 aircraft package valued at more than $37 billion. Reports at the time said it included roughly 260 737s and 40 wide-body aircraft, and that made Boeing one of the centerpieces of the U.S.-China trade relationship at the time. Then the story changed. After the 737 MAX crashes, China became one of the toughest markets for Boeing to reopen. The MAX grounding, regulatory caution, COVID, and worsening U.S.-China relations all hit at once. And during this period, China relied more heavily on Airbus and continued supporting its own aircraft maker, that's COMAC. So Boeing's China story moved from rapid growth to a long period of caution and delay. And that brings us to this week's Trump-Xi summit. Any Boeing agreement comes after years in one of the world's most important aviation markets. Other than the size of the package and aircraft types involved, one thing to watch is how quickly the orders move into deliveries. For Boeing, it could mark a step toward rebuilding its position in China. For Beijing, it could signal a willingness to stabilize trade ties with Washington while still buying from other plane makers and supporting COMAC. So the Boeing story isn't just about a plane order. It's about where aviation sits in the wider U.S.-China relationship.